All right, so we're back. Week number 3 has begun, and wow, man, I'm 36. Yesterday was my birthday, and I am 36 now, and I can't believe it, man. I can't believe that I'm in my 30s. I can't believe that I'm in like my late 30s. Yikes, that's kind of rowdy. But before I get off on that tangent for too long, let's talk about week 3. So week 3 is here, and I'm still feeling pretty good for the most part. I'm still feeling pretty strong, still feeling pretty energetic, but now the simple fact of the matter that I have a very long way to go is kind of starting to hit me, and the initial euphoria of getting started is starting to wear off. And so for anyone who's done kind of a long stretch, a fat loss journey, some diet plan, some whatever that's regarding physique transformation, where you've got to do this thing for a few months, a lot of the times the first couple of weeks are pretty easy because you're all revved up and you're ready to go. The last couple of weeks are also kind of easy because even though you're low on energy and your reserves aren't what they were, you're at the end. Like, you can see the finish line. And so it's really that middle chunk that really separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls, if you will. And so I'm starting to feel myself get into kind of that window now. And so we'll see how the weeks go, how things progress as the calendar kind of marches forward here. But I want to be real quick. I'm actually outside of Smoked Barbecue here in Chicago, which is probably the best barbecue I have ever had in my entire life. And I'm saying that coming from Memphis, and so all my Memphis friends, I'm sorry, man, but this stuff is unbelievable. And I'm actually picking it up for my wife, Autumn, for Grace, for our friends Todd and Adrian that are coming to visit us. And I don't have enough fat grams. I don't have enough fat grams left today to partake in this brisket that is just an absolute thing of beauty. And so I am not going to be enjoying smoke tonight because my macros simply will not let me today. And so that's a little bit sad. I'm a little bit upset, but I'll get over it. But anyway, let me do this video really quick. So let's get into it. So last week was a pretty interesting week because the stats on the week in terms of where I actually ended averaging about 2,200 calories. So I was 2,260 the first week. I was actually around 2,200. I'd have to look back at my spreadsheet to get the exact number. But I was around 2,200 and my carbs were probably around 148, 150 or so. But it was an interesting week because in the beginning of the week, remember I ended after week 1 at 186.6. The beginning of the week, my weight actually bounced up. My weight actually bounced up to 187, close to 188 at times. And I wasn't super surprised that happened because I kind of spilled over a little bit on my macros in terms of going a little bit higher the first couple of days of the week than I wanted to. And the main reason why that happened is because I'm not a robot. I'm a human being, and it happens. Sometimes life just kind of comes your way, and you have to do the best you can moment by moment, day by day. And so this is actually, reason number 5,000 why I love tracking my macros and counting my calories. But I'll get into that another time, I'm sure. But I spilled over a little bit on the first couple of days. My weight went up, not too surprising. But what I needed to do and what I wanted to do was in the middle of the week, I actually dropped my calories down a little bit. I dropped my carbs down a little bit. So I actually ended up kind of carb cycling last week, even though I didn't really want to do that yet. But I kind of did that in kind of an ad hoc, kind of shooting by the hip, type of way. And I actually ended up at 185.8 last week. So I lost almost a pound, and I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with that because that gives me 3 pounds total, 2 weeks in. I'm right on schedule. I'm right on pace. Now, the progress wasn't as fast as I would have liked for last week, so I want to be preemptive. I want to be a little proactive here because I don't want to have too many stagnant weeks, as I talked about in week number 1 in kind of the intro video to this whole thing. So what I've decided to do was I'm going to trim my calories just ever so slightly at the beginning of the week. And this kind of brings me to my tip for you guys for this week's video. I'm going to trim my calories ever so slightly But before I get into that tip, let me also say I'm going to add a little bit to my cardio. I'm going to add a couple of intervals to my interval sessions. Starting today, instead of doing 10 intervals, I did 12. And then when I do my second interval session on Tuesday, instead of doing 7, I'll probably do 8 or 9. Because I'm 2 weeks in, my calories are still really high. I'm at 2,200. My cardio sessions are still really low. I'm barely doing any cardio. And I'm already down 3 pounds. Like, I'm really happy. I didn't know that I'd even be able to do this early. I didn't know that I'd be able to even get 3 pounds out of these first couple of weeks by eating so much, keeping my carbs reasonably high, keeping my cardio very, very low. And so I still have lots of ammunition left to throw at this thing. And when this thing is over 13 weeks from now, 14 weeks from now, I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, I did everything I could possibly do. I left nothing on the table. I put it all on the field, and whatever happens is whatever happens. And so I'm going to be a little preemptive, going to be a little bit proactive with my cardio. But that brings me to my tip to close out this video, because I think our order might be ready. What I like to do with my weight loss, what I like to do when I'm trying to lose fat, when I'm trying to lose weight, I like to weigh myself every day, at the same time every day. So in the morning when I wake up, before I eat anything, I get up, I use the bathroom, I weigh myself every single morning. I like to do this, and I like to track my weight loss, not from a day-by-day basis. Because in any given day, or any given series of days, anybody knows, anybody who's watched their weight, whether you're dieting or not, it doesn't even matter. Weight can do some pretty weird things. Sometimes it goes up expectedly, sometimes it goes up unexpectedly. Sometimes it goes down expectedly, sometimes it goes down unexpectedly for no real reason whatsoever. And so I like to weigh myself every day. I don't like to weigh myself once a week because there's so much unpredictability in any given day's weight that if you weigh yourself on one day and your body weight does something weird, does something kind of funky, that can really throw you off and really mess with you psychologically. More so than weighing yourself every day, which I understand some people will have a problem with that, and I can respect that, and I totally get that. I totally understand that. But what I like to do is I like to take my lowest point in a given week and compare it to my lowest point in the following week. So my lowest point in week 1 was 186.6. So that is my weight. My lowest point last week was 185.8. That was my weight. Now yesterday was my birthday. So I had a few extra slices of sweet potato barbecue chicken pizza. And I had a few extra tablespoons of coconut cashew peanut butter. Or coconut cashew butter. There's actually no peanuts in it. So my weight bounced up today. So I'm 187.2. And there's no surprise. Like, that's to be expected. But there's some pressure, but I'm able to take some pressure off. There's a lot less pressure involved because I know that, all right, I've got the whole week to chase after this 185.8. So I go low point to low point, which really takes a lot of stress off those day-by-day fluctuations that I know are coming, that I know are going to happen. And so I would kind of encourage you guys to maybe think of it the same way. So that way, if you start a week off strong and you hit your low point, like this is kind of what I meant when I said a few minutes ago, I'm going to start this week taking my calories down just ever so slightly. Because if my body weight cooperates, and I find myself in the 184s very quickly, very, very easily, then I know for the rest of the week, I can kind of just coast. I can kind of put it in cruise control and just do my thing. But if my body weight is not responding, if my body weight is not accommodating, then I can be a little bit more aggressive the tail end of the week, kind of like I had to do this previous week, to make sure that I stay on track. So that's my takeaway for this week. That's my tip for you guys. Every week, go low point to low point, and that's it, man. It's time for some smoked barbecue that all my friends and family are going to enjoy right in front of my face. And these people say that they love me. I don't know, man. I don't know if they do. But I will see you guys next week.